Welcome back, guys. This is going to be the first in a while long-term backtesting session. This is at the request of one of my subscribers today. I've been doing a lot of the trade recaps just because, one, it's honestly just to document my progress. But I do understand that the long-term, no hindsight backtesting is very useful for people that want to understand my thought process and how I look at going about looking for a trade every single day. I will say that I'm not the best. I've definitely made a lot of progress in 6 months. We're going into December now, so 7 months-ish, almost 7 months. As you can see, win rate right now is 38%. I've made $12,000 on the account so far. Been struggling a little bit. My win rate dropped a lot because of these 2 months that I was trading. July, I'm up 3% right now. I mean, I'm still red green on the year, but I honestly, these last 3 green months are not ideal. So, as I said in previous videos, one thing I'm working on is accuracy. Accuracy meaning I'm trying to get my win rate up. I'm trying to ideally get more of a 50% win rate, work on my accuracy, and then work on getting bigger wins when the market presents itself. As you can see, I have a lot of red days and a lot of break-even days, very few green days in June. And then May, a lot of red, not a lot of green, so accuracy issue. Did pretty good in April. Bad, honestly, yeah, still pretty bad in March. And then February and January were pretty alright. January still came out 5%, even though I had, I think, a lot more losses than wins. And we're in July, so that's what we're gonna be working on. I'm not sure how long I'm gonna go for. Maybe we'll do half a month, so maybe up until like the 18th-ish. I don't know, it depends. So yeah, honestly, that's really what I'm working on, trying to work on my accuracy, reduce those red months, because I think I already have 3 red months, 3 green months. Really quick. Should be 3 red months, 3 green months. Yep. And then this month is undecided yet because it's not finished. So that means right now I'm half of the time, and I'm wrong half of the time in months terms, right? Obviously, in individual win rates, I'm more wrong than I'm right, and I'm trying to work on that. I think one of the biggest things is that I'm taking a lot of trades that I probably shouldn't be in to begin with, and I need to work on filtering more. But in terms of determining direction, I've gotten a lot better at that. In a sense, I'm actually quite comfortable with it now, more so than I used to be, because before I would just be like uncomfortable, like I don't know where price is gonna go. But now I'm more so comfortable with it. But with that being said, let's just get into it. I've been yapping way too long. It's already been 3 minutes, and it's been a whole lot of nothing. So let's just get into it. First things first, what day are we on? We're on a Friday. Okay, so that's useful information to have. So because it's a Friday, let's just look at where we came off of on the week. So we started Monday here, came down Tuesday, Wednesday put in the low of the week, and then Thursday we went up, and then Friday we're coming back into the range. So right now we're inside candling. It's a little concerning. So today's either going to be an inside day, we might not even do anything, right? So one thing to take note of is we tapped into this high right here, right there. Not the ultimate high, but we did tap into that high, so that means that's triggering this reversal here, this daily reversal on the Friday. I'm not really liking what I'm seeing for this Friday here, so may not take a trade today. Let's be a little bit cautious. Fridays, I don't really have a lot of luck with Fridays. Alright, so we're tapping into that high. Could be what's triggering this reversal here. Where is it? 1800 candle. High of day is not set by anything. And we're already coming down. So, okay. So we don't have a high of day or low of day really set. Are we tapping into anything right now on the opening where we are currently in price? Not really. No SMT is being set. Nope. Nope. No. Okay. So nothing is being set here. We do have a lot of low resistance above us, but we do also have this inefficiency here. So do I have a bias? Not necessarily. So this is definitely looking like maybe not doing anything today. So the driver should tell me what we're gonna do, but right now we're not doing anything. So right now this is barreling downwards. We have a small SMT, but it's not significant enough for me to do anything about. If it took out all these highs, then I'd probably want to trade lower, but because it's a Friday, I'm like extremely hesitant. So okay, we do have an SMT here, but it's not really that significant of an SMT, if I'm being honest. And then not only that, we're coming back into this inefficiency on YM here. Really, we didn't tap into anything relevant to even initiate. I mean, we do have this 1 hour fair value gap. Hold on a second. Tapped in this fair value gap. Tapped into this fair value gap. We took out this low. And this low. And this low. No, not that low. Actually, wait a minute, guys. I think low of day, I think this is SMTing, meaning I think there is an SMT at play here. Maybe I'll just use this one. So there's that. Is it that significant for me though? Not necessarily, regardless. Now, why is it not significant for me? Because we're going back up into this inefficiency. So that's just, and we're like barely doing anything, you know what I mean? Okay. So look at that. We're coming into, we're pretty lethargic, by the way. It's already 10. We haven't really done anything. We're in this inefficiency now. And then even if we were gonna go down, what would be going down to? We're in an efficiency. And we have a 4-hour C2 here. Let's mark with the PSP. It's a PSP. I'm not gonna lie, this is definitely one where I can definitely see myself losing money. I don't know. I might skip this day. I'm not saying there isn't a trade, I'm just... It's not, as you can see, this is 9 o'clock. We're now at 10 o'clock. We haven't really gone anywhere. It's about to be 11 o'clock. Yeah, I'm gonna skip today. So that was a bust. I could have forced a trade, but I honestly don't want to do that. Alright, now, okay, so today is an inside candle. This is a Monday now. We are wickless on the lower end of this. Right now, we do have an SMT at these highs. So that is something to take note of. Right now, it looks like we're kind of inside. We're like maybe potentially setting up a consolidation. But I will say that we do still have this high open for the taking here, very, very close. But we have a wickless daily candle here. But we also do have an SMT at play here as well. Need more information. Let's look at the 1800 candle. I'm not gonna lie, from the daily chart, I don't have that clear of a bias. Ideally, I'd want to go higher, but we are SMTing. So I'm curious to see if we hold that SMT. So low of day is actually set with an SMT. So, okay, I'm gonna actually get rid of this then. Because I think that's more relevant than... Because we have this high still open for us. I think it's and we're still holding at this 4-hour fair value gap. I do think it's a little bit more relevant than the one above, but it is good to note that we do have a 4-hour SMT here, right? I'm not gonna lie, this one's a little bit confusing. Ideally, I'd want to see that low hold, but usually, if we're going to expand, we'd want to see price expand away from that because the expansion is what confirms the swing point. The fact that we're coming back to it is a little bit concerning. So let's just see here. Okay, so you saw that? That's actually really good. Now, another thing to note is what is the stronger asset here? Because you want to pick the asset that is, I would say NASDAQ. It's definitely NASDAQ, right? Because we took these out. So NASDAQ would be the strongest. They're all kind of even. Or is it YM? It's hard to tell actually. Oops. It's hard to tell. But we're kind of flipping upwards. So one thing to note is the 6 o'clock candle. Let's go down to the hourly so we can get a better look at what's going on here. So as you can see, you can definitely see clearly more so the SMT being put in here because we took Asia low here, and we took Asia low. London took Asia. London did not take Asia, so that's the SMT here. That's why it's better to identify SMTs on higher time frames because you can what am I trying to say? Because it's easier to identify than on the lower time frames here. Now, I want to stay bullish. Now, why am I bullish? One, because we still have this high open, and usually we can probably assume this is the low of day. Why? Because we expanded away and we opened up a fair value gap. Why? On YM, we opened up a fair value gap that we're respecting. We also have a 1 hour C2 model here. So I can definitely see us going up to these highs at least, and this one here. So what we can do here is I outline this fair value gap because this is what we are tapping into, or have tapped into, I should say. The bodies of the candles are still respecting this fair value gap. Wicks do the damage. Bodies tell the story. Wicks do the damage. So hopefully this is a protected swing point. This protected swing point is not, it is SMT'd, and we actually do have a PSP right here. So that's actually really good. So this is an SMT along with a PSP here. Beautiful, beautiful. Because this would also be the PSP here as well. PSP. And we already have a 1 hour model. Now, do we have a 50-minute model? Okay, fine. 30-minute model. That's not a 30-minute model. This is a C2 model starting from 9 o'clock. So actually we already do have a swing point in play. We have 2 swing points in play already. That would mean, yeah, actually, oh, I take that back. We do have a 50-minute C2. We do. And it's SMT'd actually as well. It's SMT'd. Now, I would say the only thing that we want now is we would just need a I feel like it takes so long to like this and to tell you guys. We just need, okay, so we actually already have a 3-minute model here, which in that case I think we should just be able to take this. I can probably do this and then just target the high here. I'm kind of nervous. Or should I wait? Because the only reason I say we should wait is because we do have another inefficiency here. So either two things can happen. We'll go back down or we'll just rip. Do I think we will rip? I get nervous taking trades right at 9:30, but either I'll get stocked out or I'll just rip. I'm kind of conflicted here, if I'm being honest. Okay. Yeah, so that's why I was curious about that. That's why I was waiting. Yeah, so that was a good call. So we wait. We came back down lower. This should be a protected swing point. We are rejecting back off of it. We do have YM putting in another C2 model here. We did okay, so let's see here. Okay, so YM is putting in another model here. And the reason for the reversal is because of this fair value gap here. But we did put in a C2, which right now is a PSP, so this is null. Same thing on ES. Now, do we have an SMT being put in place here? Actually, yeah, we do, because we took London low, which is kind of crazy because I literally just said it's a PSP with an SMT, which means that that is not the low of day. In fact, we just put in the low of day. So that means we can't even take the first CISD. We have to wait for the second one. So that sucks. Alrighty, yeah. Just have to wait for it. My next question is that what is the strongest then, right? What is the strongest asset? What is the best asset to take this trade on? Let's see here. We are closer, I would say YM actually. Why? Because we are closer to this high on YM than we are NASDAQ. This high is extremely far away from us. So I would say NASDAQ right now is one of the more weaker assets, while ES and NAS and YM are just demonstrating strength. We have a 1 hour C2 on relatively all of them. We have a 30-minute C2. And just to reiterate, we did put in the low of day here, so we have to wait for a second CISD. Oh shoot, I accidentally came out of it. Okay. Okay, so yeah, everything is looking pretty good. Just want to make sure that that's the case. So in that case, we need to wait for the second CISD since that's the low of the day, so we can't actually take this. So, okay, you see how we're coming back down now? If we can get a closure, okay, we're not getting the closure. If we can get the closure. Oh shit, we got it on NASDAQ. That's concerning. But they're all going up. I guess I can take this then. Fake. Okay, yeah, we can take this. Wait, would that be considered the first CISD though? Or would I have to wait? Actually, shit, I think I have to wait. Why? Because we never actually closed above this, so that's not our first CISD. This would be our first CISD. Okay, we're coming back into another fair value gap right here. Can we get a closure above? Oh shit, no. And that's why I said you can't take that. And we're going lower. It's 10 o'clock. We're doing a whole bunch of shit. And because we didn't take it, now we have to back out again. Let's reassess. Maybe easier to look at the 30-minute. So, okay. We're still respecting this fair value gap here. We're sandwiched between two fair value gaps, and that's why we're not going anywhere. So we still do have a C2 candle. I would want to start seeing this. I would want to start to see this black candle flip. It doesn't look like it wants to flip. Okay. Okay, YM is just continuing to... Okay, we're starting to flip. Now, we do have an SMT between ES, YM, and NASDAQ at the very bottom here. So that would be a two-stage SMT right there, and right here. One thing you do want to take note of, another thing you want to take note of as well is the time. So since it's 10:25, a trade is still a viable option for us. Again, because it is the low of the day, we cannot take the first CISD, which would roughly be this, I guess. We need to wait for a second continuation confluence, and this is why you wait, because look at that. If I had taken this one, I would have been under a lot of heat. We are seriously failing to manipulate. So it looks like this is a non-trade day. It's just a lot of shop. It's everywhere. It's not really going anywhere. And which is funny because I think at the beginning of this video I did say that this could potentially be an inside day. And these are why we have rules to filter out. Because if we didn't have those filters, then we would have been in a trade that would have not worked out in our favor. So this is a skip day. I think the previous day was also a skip day. There just was no trade. Okay, next day. Alrighty. As I said, we still have this high available to us. See, we have a lot of filters now, but I feel like for the other months that I was trading, there wasn't a lot of filters, or not really a lot of how do I put this, like things to keep me out of trades, or maybe I just wasn't paying attention. I don't know. So what can I take note of? We did take this low here. Did we take it on everything? We did. Is there any SMTs being put in by any chance? Anything that was taken? I don't think so. Nope. Alright, yeah, so the only thing I can note is that we took this low. And on these assets, that would be the equivalent of respecting this fair value gap here. Not really a daily C2, so also something good to keep in mind. I would ideally want us to go back up to these highs, so I'm more so bullish. Now you're probably wondering, why am I bullish? If you didn't understand already, we did sweep this out. We did sweep out here. We are still respecting this daily fair value gap. If you're not too sure still, I do have a checklist that I do use sometimes when I'm confused. There's 3 things in my checklist to determine daily bias. The first thing is daily candle closures. You want to understand how to read how candles close in relation to one another. I believe T Trades has a video titled "The Only Daily Bias Video You'll Need," and he goes over how to read candle closures. So that's one way to determine daily bias, but I use like 2 other things to help me determine it. So honestly, the candle closure, if you're just looking at these candle closures right here, T Trade's method would tell you that we're bearish, we're going to go lower because we closed below this candle here. But I think what T Trade's method fails to do is understand what is the overall order flow. And overall order flow is just what is the dominant direction. And you can clearly see it on all assets. It's bullish. Why would you trade bearish when we're clearly bullish? You know what I mean? And then not only that, what PD arrays are we respecting? We're respecting bullish PD arrays, right? So that is bullish. The candle closure tells us that we're bearish, but the order flow says that we're bullish, right? So the next thing, so in a way you can tally them up against one another. You can say, okay, well, this candle's closure says bearish, so 1 tally for bearish, but the order flow says bullish, 1 tally for bullish. Now, what is the last thing? The last thing is phases of price, right? And there's 4 phases of price. There's expansion, there's retracement, there's consolidation, and then there's reversal. So it's kind of hard to see what the phase of price is on the daily. So I'd say at the very least you do need to go to an hourly. So honestly, looking at this, so this is expansion meets retracement meets expansion meets retracement meets expansion. Expansion fell short because ideally we want to have to take this high, and then we fell back down here, right? But that's not a reversal signature. A reversal signature is more sharp. It's more pointed, you know what I mean? This seems more so like a rebalance to equilibrium. So this seems like this is just a rebalance to equilibrium to take out all this low resistance liquidity, come back into this fair value gap. It took out this low. Look what happened once it took out this low. We're still respecting this fair value gap, right? Because the bodies have not closed below this fair value gap. The wicks have gone below it. The bodies tell the story, the wicks do the damage. And what are we doing right now? We're consolidating. I will say this is a big bearish inefficiency though. So we could see it hold, or we could see it get broken through. But ideally, just looking at the grand scheme of things and the fact that we've been overall bullish, and this is not really showing a reversal signature, which is a very sharp, pointed up and down, I would still more so lean towards bullishness. Now, does that mean the trade that we take has to be bullish? Absolutely not, but I would lean more towards bullishness just in the grand scheme of things. So that's how I determine daily bias, right? With that being said, I'm just going to go back out to the daily chart real quick. I'm going to get rid of this equilibrium thing here. I would be more so bullish. And why again? Because we took out this low, we're respecting bullish order flow. And right now the daily candle is open, low, high, close. If you understand power of 3, open, low, high is a very bullish signature. That higher is where we want to go. Now, with that being said, that's really it. Yeah. So then on the 4 hour, we're going to mark out our 1800 candle to see how that daily candle is developing here. Then we want to see whether the high and low has been created from anything of significance. It doesn't look like it. Now, what do I mean by anything by significant? Is there an SMT setting the low of day, or is there a PSP? Meaning, is there an SMT here at the 1800 candle? Nope. Or at any of these other candles. And by any of these other candles, I mean they would have to take out something of significance like below here, but it hasn't done that. So that's one thing. Is there an SMT at the high? Yes, there is, but I'm not really looking to be bearish. I'm looking to be bullish, so this could be a fake SMT if the plate is higher, right? So with that being said, nothing really stands out to me. So the next thing I'm looking at here, I mean, we could go to the 1 hour. I guess the 1 hour is fine, right? So then the next thing I want to look at is, okay, what have we done? We've come back down. Again, is there any SMTs or PSPs that is setting any of these lows here? I will say okay, one thing to note as well is that this 6 o'clock candle is an open low high candle, so that's very bullish. So I like that actually. Is there an SMT setting that 6 o'clock candle's low? Yes, actually. There is. Because look at this. This is SMT'd. We never took this low here on any of the other assets. Yeah. Setting 6 o'clock's low. It's not low of day, but it's setting the 6 o'clock candles low. So ideally what I'd want to see now is price to expand away. And by expand away, I mean expand upwards. Now, if we're going to expand upwards, we do have a lot of liquidity we can take. Particularly on NASDAQ, we have our London high here. We have this high. We have this high. And ultimately that high. So, great. So because we already have an established swing point and it is not the low of the day, because the low of the day is down here. Mind you, the low of the day actually is set with a PSP. I didn't notice that. Oh, wow. That's amazing. PSP, PSP. One thing that I also want to focus more on is identifying or noticing more PSPs. Because they're useful for, like, you know, as confirmation confluences to help with your bias. So one thing that I'm looking at right now is just how are we developing. So one thing I do not like though is that the fact that if this is the low of the 6 o'clock candle, I would have ideally wanted to see some expansion away. We did get it here, but we've been kind of consolidating, a little bit lethargic. Let's go to the 30 minutes. So we do have a little fair value gap here. We do have a C2, 30-minute C2 already in place here. Now 50 minutes, okay. It's consolidating. Not a fan. Not a fan at all. Oh, we're SMTing this low. I like that. Okay. Now we're SMTing. Let's see how this. Okay. Okay. That's not what I wanted to see at all. So that's a little bit unexpected, right? One thing to note, and you're probably like, well, it looked bearish. There's a bearish inefficiency here. Here's the thing. Even if that were the case, the current high of day is not being set with an SMT of any sort, right? Yeah, no. So I would still, I do realize that we have an SMT setting taking out Asia's low, so we technically, as of right now, still do have an SMT here. It's not really what I wanted to see, but hey, let's go back down to 30 minutes or even 50 minutes, doesn't really matter. So if we're going to continue to up, I want to see a 50-minute C2 be put into place here. Okay, we got it on YM. We're getting a C2 model on YM. Is YM the strongest? No, actually, it's NASDAQ. NASDAQ is the strongest. That or... No, yeah, NASDAQ is the strongest. Alright. Yeah, so... C2 everything. Now, because that's the low of the day, I actually can't take the first CISD here. And we're really close to tapping into that level, so that could send us... Okay, that's interesting, because we never even tapped into that level. Did we tap in? Okay, we tapped into this. This is probably what's triggering this reversal here. We have another C2 here, still intact, because we haven't taken Asia low. We're developing another C2. We still have this high available to us. So I would want to, and we have, everything is, yeah, that's unexpected. Okay. So there might just not be a trade for us? Is that it? I mean, in all honesty though, it's still... What time is it? 10:14? I got a 50-minute C2, just not on the other assets. So it looks like... Okay, wait a minute. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. Hold on, let me see something for a second. We do have... would that even be considered a C2? Let me see something. Okay, that's better. Alright, no trade today. No trade. Was there a trade, though? That's a good... You know, that's another thing to also look at. Was there a trade? We were in this inefficiency here, and I guess you could say we could be going down to here. But typically, even if that was the case, I would want to see... Okay. There actually is an SMT. There was an SMT. It was made at 9 o'clock, probably 9:30. That was put in. So that means I had the wrong draw. But I honestly don't think that's a bad thing regardless. Like me having the wrong draw. Because yeah, you could say that we're in this inefficiency. Oh shoot. Actually guys, I'm going to be right back. Just bear with me. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. So, yeah. So, even though we're in this inefficiency, I guess I could have anticipated both, right? Both bullish and bearish. But I'm not mad at it. I was mostly... You can trade in a way where you're only going to be bullish or only going to be bearish. So, this is still not a bad thing. Was there a trade, though? Yes, there was. What was the trade? We had an SMT between here and here. The only thing I do not like about this, regardless of whether there's an SMT or not, is that these are relatively equal highs. you don't want to trade away from relatively equal highs, so that's a little concerning, but there was an SMT here. Same thing on here. Now, with that being said, was there an entry? Was there a model? Where is it? Is that it? This is a little weird. It might have been this here, I think. But this is like way down. That's way down. I don't know. This is a little wonky, isn't it? Let me go back up. So the equivalent, yeah, it's right there. Right there. And then, yeah, so if we go to 3 minute, so it's not the highest. See, this is why I say I don't like trading near relative equal highs. Because technically, if it's not the high of day, you could take the first CISD, I guess. But this would make me very nervous. And then not only that, we're coming into this fair value gap here. Luckily, we didn't get a lot of retracement. So, I mean, guys, even if I was bearish, I'm going to be real honest with you. I still wouldn't take this. I still wouldn't take it. So, and then even, okay. In a sense, I guess you could have taken this. Again, if we're assuming that this is the high of day, you could have taken this trade here. And I can show you what that would look like. You'd enter here. Stop maybe here. If it's an expansion, I guess you can. So you would have got the 1 to 2. Now, with this one, I don't know if you would have got the 1 to 2. Maybe. Stop would have had to been up here. No, you would not have gotten the 1 to 2. Yeah, it would have to be like that. And yeah, it's just chopping. Fuck. I wouldn't have taken a trade. This day was a little bit weird. Next day. So I think it's been like what, 2-3 days since we've taken a trade. We haven't taken a trade for like 2-3 days. What day is today? The 9th? How many days if no trades is that? I think it's 2, right? Yeah, 3 actually. So we're on the 9th now. Whole lot of nothing. Which is kind of interesting because on the other months, I traded no matter what. But again, I'm not really trading that much differently than I was then. So it's kind of weird that my filtering is saving me on these days and it wasn't saving me. Oh, alright, we have, I think, an SMT. I think today is Wednesday. It is a Wednesday. I believe we do have an SMT as well. We do. And where would we be going? These highs. So I'm definitely 100% bullish. See, today was an inside candle. What the hell? Why isn't this lined up? Okay. See, it's an inside candle. Didn't go anywhere. So definitely not a day you want to trade. Inside days, don't want to trade them. And SMT is setting low of week. So that's a good. So we can expect Wednesday and potentially Thursday to expand. If we take this high though, Thursday we actually could see a reversal, but let's just see here. And then we're also going for this as well. So great. One thing I will say on YM, we are entering a bearish inefficiency, but if we are truly bullish, then we should just go right past that, right? All right, daily. Hopefully we can get a trade today. Let's always mark out our 1800 candles, see how that daily candle is developing. Alrighty. Alright. See that? Wait. Yeah, we took out, just refine this a little bit. Took out that low. Low 1800 candle is set with a significant low of day, actually. It's set with a huge SMT. We already knew that, but seeing the distance actually is quite impressive. In fact, it's a two-stage because then it was taken out by this here. So that's our 2 a.m. manipulation into reversal. So we can definitely expect this candle to continue higher. Oh god, this I don't like. We're tapping into this high. Gotta be a little bit wary of that. A lot of low resistance here. Yes. Gotta watch out for that as well. Let's just finish white mark. So we do have a two-stage SMT here, which is pointing us up to the upside. So no SMT here, I don't think. No, it is a two-stage, but like I mean like. Okay. Perfecto. Aish. See, you can see the reversal. The only thing I do not like about this, so much low resistance, is that we've already expanded. But we don't have an opposing swing point. Oh boy. Tapped into that level. What can we expect? Jesus. Yeah, if we're near the draw, we're just gonna go. Now, wow, that is actually really crazy. Oh my gosh. I would like to see an opposing run. Oh my shit. We're just barreling up. Oh, are you serious? Oh my god. What the fuck? Yeah, no, like, look, there's like no opposing run whatsoever. There was no way we could have gone on side with this. Oh my god. We took out the we took out the draw already. What the fuck? We do have a 15-minute model here. So I guess the question, if this is the high of day, okay. With that being said, wow, that actually would be a huge no, wow. Yeah, this would be a huge, oops. This would be a huge SMT because this is all the way up here, right? The weakest asset is YM. So if we're failing to manipulate, meaning that we're going to come lower, because we already do have a 3-minute CISD here. I would need us to see us go lower. Let's see here. I'm trying to see if we're going to come back down within the range. So, okay, hold on. It's okay. I think I can take this short here. Why? Because we do have a C2 model. We have C2 on here. Yeah. And we do have a massive SMT at the top. We do have a PSP. Okay, so look at this. We have a PSP here. PSP. And, right? Regardless, it's still a PSP. In fact, it's also an SMT. This is a PSP. PSP with an SMT. PSP with an SMT and a ginormous PSP at the very highs. Yeah, I can. And then the weakest asset is YM, so that would definitely be your trade. I can probably. So let me actually check out the 30-minute candle. Okay. Let's look at the hourly. See, that's what I meant by SMT. This should just expand lower. Let's bring this up a little bit. Do I think we can get to 1 to 3? honestly probably kind of nervous. I followed all my rules. It should just rip. Hold on. We can move to break even. Why? Because we took out this low here. Shit, should I just take it off at 1 to 2? Let me see. Or should I just close it out at a profit, or should I try and go for... Let's just close it. Does it get to 1 to 3 though? Let's do 15. No. Okay, so right call to take it off at 1 to 2. One thing we could have also did to just gauge it is probably use a standard deviation here. Yeah, so the max we could have gotten is 4 standard deviation. We hit it, and then we started to reverse, right? So just took it off at 1 to 2 because it didn't look like it wanted to go down any further. So that was a really good play right there. Now to review, I don't really want to review the whole trade just because I take a long time to set up the trade, but you're probably wondering how I was originally bullish and then I decided to be bearish. Why? I will explain to you why I flipped bearish. Why did we flip bearish? For a couple of reasons. One, at the opening, I wanted to originally trade bullish, but it didn't give me an opportunity to trade on side with that. So it didn't give me a pullback or an entry model to go higher. So what ended up happening is that right off the bat at 9:30, we ended up ripping immediately higher, and we already took out the target. Now, one thing that you want, I think the biggest thing that really changed my trading within these last couple weeks is understanding when price is going to reverse, or when the potential for price to reverse is very high. And what triggers a reversal? Reversals are triggered by tapping into a key level that is set with confluences such as an SMT and a PSP, and looking for a valid swing formation, right? So what were those things that told me that we were going to reverse? We tapped into a key level, check, check. We have a massive SMT because on NASDAQ we took out this high. This high is all the way up here on YM. And the same thing with ES, right? We didn't get anywhere near this high. So that's one thing. Key level check, SMT check. What else did I talk about? The fact that we have a PSP, meaning this candle is green and this candle is black. This candle is green, this candle is black. But not only that, we also have an SMT right here. I didn't mark it out because it's really tiny, but we do where we took this candle, took out this high, and I'll mark it out, SMT, and then this candle did not take out this high, which again is a PSP. So SMT right there, and then let's see, yeah, same thing. And this candle between YM and ES, this is a PSP right here, green, blue. So there's multiple PSPs, right? This is green, black. Did I say green, blue? Green, black, and then green, black, right? Green, black. So 2 PSPs in play here, setting, signifying the swing points, the highs. And then again, there is another SMT here. But this SMT is very small. It's still valid, but I'm more so looking at the huge, gigantic one that's over here. So that's 3 things. I have a PSP, an SMT, a bigger SMT. What else? I have a valid swing formation, which is a C2 swing model right here. The 50-minute model right here. 50-minute model. And what do I mean by C2? Meaning that this candle went above and then came back within the range of this candle. The body closed within this candle. That's a C2 swing formation. So it's a swing point. You cannot reverse without a swing point. If you look at all the swing formations in the market, they are either going to be a C2 reversal, a C3 reversal, a C4 reversal. And how do you know that it's a valid swing point? There's a couple ways to understand whether a swing point is valid, and that's if it has tapped into a key level. If price expands away from that level, that will also signify a key swing point level. And then pairing that with an SMT and a PSP makes it a lot more higher probability as well. So at SMT, we have a PSP, we have a 15-minute model, and a huger SMT right over to the bat. And then what we are looking for. Now, if this is the highest day, I cannot take the first CISD. Why can we not take the first CISD? Because we don't know when the highest day is actually set, right? We don't know. We could put in an SMT and then continue to go higher. So what we want to do is wait for the continuation that price is going to go lower. So for example, this is the first CISD, right? We close below these series of up close candles. Can you take this? Absolutely, you can. Is it hugely risky? It's highly risky. Yes, it is, because we don't know if this is the high of day. We don't know if this is a high of day. That's why we wait for the continuation, right? You could have taken a trade all the way from here. You could have. But it's very risky because you don't know if this is the high of day. So I waited for the continuation, which is a closure below this order block here, and then that's when I decided to enter the trade. Again, you could totally have taken it at the high, but you're risking being stopped out more so than not. Could have taken this here when we close below here, and you could have that would have been beautiful, but would I realistically target all the way down here? Probably not. I mean, unless standard deviation says that it's possible. Oh, yeah. Yeah, see, it hit 4 standard deviation. Definitely possible. Definitely possible. So what you can do is you could hold down to here, but take partials. Maybe at the very least take off 75% or 50% of your trade at 2 standard deviation or 2.5 standard deviation, and then hold for 4 standard deviation, but just understand when you're taking partials that you're cutting into your profit. That's why I try not to do that. Like, if you take partials, it will definitely increase your win rate, right? But it cuts a lot into the profit. And then your losses, when you take losses, you're going to be taking them at full losses. You're not, I mean, unless you cut them quickly, but your stop loss is already smaller than your take profit. So you're technically cutting losses quickly. That's the point of a stop loss, right? But my point is that if you let your stop loss be hit for full loss, your losses are going to end up being bigger than your wins over time if you take partial wins. So that's why I don't really use partials. I guess in a sense this is kind of a part. It wasn't a partial. I just took the full thing off because I didn't think it was going to get down here, as you can see. And then even if I did hold it, right now I would have already been at break even, so I would have gotten taken out at nothing. Could it come back down here? Well, I would say no. And it's already 4 o'clock here, so no. Pretty good trade. I don't know what was going on those last 2 months. How do you do really bad these months and then fucking come out doing really great in July? I'm up 6%. Did a lot of really good filtering for these last 2 days. What time is it? We've been doing this for an hour and we haven't even gotten through the fucking week. Yeah. One thing that I was doing these months is I was taking every single trade, but I'm not really doing anything different, which is really shocking to me. I honestly don't know why I was losing so much. One thing, I was definitely taking trades every single day. I wasn't doing a lot of filtering, but what I'm doing now is not that much different. So this was in June and May. Let's take a look at what the daily chart looks like, because sometimes it could just be that it's a very choppy month. Like, this is, like, look at this. It was June and May, right? This is July. This is wait a minute, what? June and May, yeah. Oh, by the way, I recently updated and I paid for FX replays 45% off Black Friday discount. So now I have a year's worth of 13 months to be exact of FX replay, their pro plan. I thought it was worth it. 45% off is pretty sick. And I have been liking the Pro, so I was like, why the fuck not? Even if I do, get pass a prop firm and I get a payout, I still would use FX replay just to keep your skills sharp and all that stuff, right? Yeah, I wanted to take a look at June and May. So this is June. I would say maybe my biggest issue is June is just that the moves are very small. Like this is a really deep retracement. Inside candle day, we kind of went down, then came back into the range, then we went up, and then we went down, and then up, and then really small movement days, which are really easy to get chopped up in. Then we had a big down day, then we had an up day, then we had a down. Like I think it's just the constant deep retracements, not really going anywhere, like a lot of randomness. Even though you see a lot of bullish candles here, they're very like lethargic. They're not really big. Like I started to do really good in June because look, we have really big move, very decisive days. And it's very easy for me to determine bias when it's very clear like this. I think the issue is that this was just really hard to navigate for me. So that was June, and then what was it? May. Let's see, May. Yeah, like I can already kind of see why we went up and then we came back down, really aggressive. Went up. Would I have expected this up movement? Perhaps, but we had a gap. Then we came back down. Then we went up, and we had really, really deep retracement. So like for example, like this day, actually maybe not, I don't know. Like it was, I don't know. I think it's just not, it's not as nice as this, right? This is a lot of like craziness. Hold on. This whole area is just a lot of craziness. April, you can see a lot more clear, a lot more just up, 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 or down, down, down. It's just a lot more, it just made a lot more sense to me, I guess. This was craziness, so that's probably why I got chopped up. But now that we're in like really nice, decisive order flow, it's very easy to get on side. So maybe it wasn't really me, maybe it was just a conditions issue. See, this is why it's really good to trade multiple months and get some good data, because sometimes like 1 month, you get one red month and you're like, oh, I'm really bad at this. And then, but when you have like a series of data, it really puts into perspective that, like, for example, even though I have 3 red months right now, right? In July, I'm up 6% so far. Let's hope we can keep it. But I've already gained back what I lost in May and June, and I'm up 6%. If this was a prop challenge, I would have passed it. So that's good. And, overall, my win rate is not very good. I would say on average, I'm about 40%. 40%. I really do want to get my accuracy up, and I'm working on it. But this does put into perspective that I do know what I'm doing relatively, and sometimes it's just the conditions. But I think the best thing you can do on the red months is just to minimize your losses. Like even though I ended up red on March, I only lost like less than 1%, 2%. Not bad. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not exactly happy with the negative 3% here. And if I'm going to have a red month, I'd prefer to keep it like 1% or less. So the fact that I lost 2.5% and then nearly 4% is not good. At this point, I've gained it all back. Going forward in July, I want to get some 1 to 3s here because it will really take care of the losses. If I get, losses are always possible. If I get any more losses in July, I tried to go for 1 to 3 on this one, but you guys saw it. The market just didn't offer it. So, yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna end this here. You guys, someone requested that I do a longer form backtesting video, so I was like, what the heck? Haven't done one of these in a while. I'll probably put this. I do have a backlog of videos, but I'll probably bring this to the forefront of the backlog. So just bear with the trade recaps, guys. I just have a lot of them backlogged already. So you're still gonna get trader recaps, but I'll definitely try and film some more backtesting And I'll definitely like be continuing to film this backtesting session for you, and just show you how that's going, which is really funny because we're coming up on the end of November. FX Replay does update the data like daily, so I'll be able to trade all the way up until November, going into December of 2025. So with my current skills, you're kind of seeing how I would realistically do if I had started at the beginning of this year with my skills. So not bad. Would have not passed the challenge here. Really close. Would have passed it in February. Probably would have fucking blown it in March. Actually, maybe not. I don't know. It depends. I don't know how the rules for prop firms necessarily work just yet. April would have made some good money. Probably would have gotten a payout. May would have got smoked. June smoked. July probably would have blown the account by now. Probably. And July starting to recoup. So let's see if we can continue with the results. If I can get a 1 to 3, it would really help because then I can take 3 losses to wipe before I wipe out that 1 to 3 win. So I think that's key to like being profitable, getting higher R&R. Not, you don't have to always, but like sometimes getting higher R&R and increasing your accuracy. That's how you can improve your win rate. And even if your win rate doesn't improve, getting higher R&R will definitely take care of the losses when they come, because you want to pay for the losses, right? And fund the winners. So yeah, that's kind of just my advice. If you have any questions, leave them down below. I'm always here to share knowledge. I'm still learning like everyone else, but I'm getting better. I'm starting to see 1 to 6 plus a lot more consistently. And even my losing months have been reduced. I've had like negative 6R months in the past. I've had like really steep losing months, and the fact that I've been able to reduce those down is really good. It's showing real good improvement. So I think the next stage now is just to reduce those losers, see those winners more consistently, and continuing to improve. I'm very excited to see where I go from here. And yeah, I hope you guys stick around for the journey. With that being said, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.